Should you play Outriders? That's beautiful. Oh my god. Outriders.
ドキドキしちゃる。
Starting up Outriders, I was pretty excited, as the game had come from the creators of Gears of War, which is a pretty freaking great game. And while I never played the Outriders demo, jumping into it, I'd heard a lot about it. People were like, holy shit, this is Borderlands mixed with Gears of War. And then I jumped into the actual game and thought to myself, what? Has the gaming world gotten taken over by hard drugs? The only thing I found similar between Outriders and any of the Borderlands games was the trash story that I barely cared about. You ever heard of the saying, show and don't tell, which states that any great story needs to be able to show the audience what's happened in the past or going on in the story, and not just tell the audience what's going on in the story? And at first, Outriders does a lot of tell with very few moments of show. It tells you that the Earth's fucked up at the beginning of the game, but it never shows you.
Truth is, none of us should have even gotten off Earth.
Survivor's guilt. You think any one of us isn't feeling it?
The intro should have played out like this.
Truth is, none of us should have even gotten off Earth.
What the fuck? No.
After the shitty stories expunged from the crevices of these weird characters, you take a deep dive into the gameplay, which is really just a clone of Gears of War's gameplay, with a really pretty setting. The gunplay feels the same, the cover mechanics feel the same, and overall everything seems to be reminiscent of the game it set out to copy, yet be so different from. Also, your best friend Jacob looks like a straight up fucking doofus. What the fuck is wrong with his face? But spoiler alert, it gets so much better. Not gonna lie, I was super close to giving this game back to Steam at the 1.5 hour mark because I thought it was going to be an absolute good for nothing.
Friggin' stickin' sinkin' Lincoln.
But much like the movie, I Heart Huckabees, I gave it a second chance. And hot diggity day dog dough, I am so happy that I did.
At this point of the video, there's gonna be some minor spoilers. If you ain't a little biznatch, then you should stay.
Please. It would really help me out a lot. At first, I thought that the small twist at the beginning of the game that takes you into the future was poorly executed, as I found the forest biome at the starting area of Outriders to be breathtaking. With ultra precision, look at this! This is why I have this graphics card. But then the disgusting, rotting future planet that's been taken over by psychotic humans did an amazing job at captivating me after the first couple of areas. At first, I was like, fuck this game. And then once I saw the bodies dangling from the roofs of this crazy ass gate thing, I was like, I'm gonna fuck this game. Not actually though. That's disgusting. Who am I kidding? I'd caress and love Outriders because this bumpy ride that took me down into video game limbo brought me back out and threw me into gaming paradise when it opened up its pearly gates and said, you know this combat that felt extremely fluid but also felt like nothing new? Well, here's superpowers an 1.5 hours into the game. And I was like, yes. I usually play a pyro in D&D. Now it's my time to play a fucking pyro in this wild-ass shooter. So I jumped into Crazy Town with my pyro, which actually wasn't Crazy Town at all, because you only have one power slot. But once you unlock 2 other power slots and realize that your powers all sync up to one another, like World of Warcraft Lite, you're all like, I now believe in Hermes. Hermes is the closest thing I found to the god of gaming, and I thought it'd work since he's the god of gambling. You're welcome. Then you're like, okay, I understand why this game is okay, but most of these areas still feel generic. I run in, I shoot, some people die because I'm pretty badass, but so far this game's still a Jurassic World out of a green room. You know, super okay, and not even close to reaching the level of being absolutely amazing. To which the game says, what the fuck did you just say to me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class. In the Navy SEALs, I have over 100 confirmed kills. And throws in these crazy ass bosses with crazy ass attacks, and your control button, which serves as your dodge, that you thought was completely useless, isn't useless at all because those crazy ass bosses with crazy ass attacks telegraph their movements, and now you have to press control all of the time. Yes, I jumped from first person into second person a while ago, but it's because you need to understand. You need to understand how this game made me feel. I felt like I was the president of the United States, but with no actual obligations of having to take care of the United States. But for some reason, I was still able to be one of the most powerful people in the United States, but in the comfort of my room, dodging attacks from giant monsters that the game just randomly chucked at me. At every turn, Outriders becomes exponentially expansive until those areas that that you got used to with a lot of cover become more open. Those attacks that you had to dodge from bosses become commonplace among enemies while they rush at you, which all in all make it so that the rare situations that only occurred during boss encounters, where you had to think situations through logically, turn into an intoxicating routine among new waves of enemies. All of this causes Outriders to go from a Jurassic World to Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is an astonishing movie, but just not the pinnacle of cinema. But what pushes it far past a green room and swings me back towards my Borderlands comparison, which transforms into an even better than Borderlands 3 statement, is a combination of two things. Outriders has guns and armor with mods, which I didn't find out about until 5 hours into my playthrough. Borderlands 3 has billions of different guns, but doesn't allow the player to choose what mods the guns they pick come with, but Outriders says,
That's some idiotic shit right there.
and makes it so that any equipment that you dismantle with mods gives you its mods, and you can then pay resources to then attach those mods onto different better weapons and armor that you find along your journey. And to add a third thing to this two-thing combination, there's a skill tree that allows you to extensively customize your character to your liking. Some of you by now might be wondering some important questions like, Doki, does the story get any better? And how are the graphics and the soundtrack? The soundtrack's unmemorable, and the story's mediocre, but there's something lovable about the characters the more you spend time with them. The main character kind of sounds like whoever did the voice acting for him was learning along the way,
Just tell me what to do, Cap.
and finally got it after a couple of days in.
Passage through the minefield. That was our deal.
Whereas the writing sounds and plays as if it came from someone who thought about what cool things were, but didn't actually understand what cool things were.
A ship blows up, and your best friend Jacob, he finds this pregnant lady
What the hell is he on about?
who's dying, and Jacob steals her baby.
This guy's absolutely fucking insane.
Drinking problem because he's Russian, and we wanted to racially profile him. He's on your team doing team things, and all of a sudden,
And the graphics are absolutely amazing, but the different environments that the game provides and some of the character designs can be a little hit or miss with what either seems like the studio's highest level of mediocrity being performed. You can take a look at this generic swampy place, for example. Ill, dull, a little on the boring side. Or the studio applies maximum effort and creates environments that will leave you flummoxed with the amount of detail that's precisely executed. Look at this forest. Just look at it. Beautiful. God, I'm dying. So, should you play Outriders? If you can handle a game that starts off at Jurassic World, knowing that the payoff of time and effort will morph into a game better than Borderlands 3 in terms of sheer gameplay, then what the hell are you doing still listening to this? Go buy it. If not, then get over yourself and go out into the world, discover yourself, reintroduce yourself into the world, and buy this game.